Have you ever wondered why some people eat healthy every single day? Lots of vegetables, simple meals, nothing fancy. And yet their kidney numbers keep getting worse, their blood pressure won't stabilize, and fatigue slowly takes over their life. What if I told you that one of the most trusted vegetables in American kitchens, cabbage, can quietly overload aging kidneys and even interfere with heart medications after the age of 60 without pain, without warning, and without you feeling anything until real damage is already done? I'm Dr. Johnny, and this is not fear-mongering. This is a pattern I've seen again and again, people doing what they believe is right, following advice they've heard for years, only to discover too late that the rules change when the body changes. The truth is, cabbage itself is not the enemy. The danger lies in how it's prepared, how it's combined, and when it's consumed, especially if you're over 60 or taking daily medications. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 3 common mistakes that turn cabbage from a healing food into a hidden burden on your kidneys. And more importantly, I'll show you exactly how to eat it the right way, so it protects your kidneys, supports your blood vessels, and works with your body instead of against it. And I strongly encourage you to stay until the end, because the final mistake is the one most doctors never have time to warn you about, yet it's the one that can change everything in a single moment. The first mistake sounds harmless. In fact, most people believe it's the healthiest choice they could make. Turning cabbage into juice, bottled cabbage juice, concentrated cabbage drinks, cold in the fridge, quick in the morning, and marketed as easy detox. For many people over 60, this is often the very first step where kidney stress quietly begins. I remember a man in his early 60s who told me, "Doctor, I don't eat junk. Every morning I drink cabbage juice. I'm doing everything right." He wasn't overweight. He walked daily. He took his medications exactly as prescribed. But over the course of a year, his lab results told a different story. His kidney filtration rate was slowly declining. His electrolytes were drifting out of balance, and he felt tired in a way sleep never fixed. Nothing dramatic, no sharp pain, no emergency, just a quiet, steady slide. And this is exactly why this mistake is so dangerous. Cabbage itself isn't the problem. The problem is what happens when you remove fiber, concentrate minerals, and flood the bloodstream all at once, especially in an aging body. When you eat whole cabbage, your digestive system works gradually. Fiber slows absorption. Nutrients are released over time. Your kidneys have breathing room to filter, adjust, and eliminate excess minerals safely. But when cabbage is juiced or concentrated, that entire buffering system disappears. What rushes into your bloodstream instead is a dense liquid load of potassium, sulfur compounds, and other minerals absorbed rapidly with no fiber to slow the process. For a younger person with strong kidney reserve, this surge might not cause immediate damage. But after age 60, kidney function naturally declines even in people who feel healthy. Filtration speed slows. Tubular handling of electrolytes becomes less efficient. The margin for error shrinks. In practical terms, this means the kidneys suddenly have to process a mineral spike they were never designed to handle quickly. Potassium is one of the biggest concerns here. It's essential for nerve and muscle function, but in excess, especially when delivered too fast, it becomes a burden. Repeated daily spikes force the kidneys into overdrive, and over time that strain accumulates. This is why many older adults who rely on vegetable juices don't feel worse immediately. The damage isn't loud. It's cumulative. Think of it like pouring buckets of water into a slow-draining sink. One bucket doesn't overflow, but bucket after bucket, day after day, eventually the water rises. Science backs this up. Research consistently shows that liquid forms of nutrients raise blood concentrations faster and higher than whole foods, particularly minerals like potassium. Fiber isn't just about digestion, it's a critical regulator that protects the kidneys from overload. And here's something most people never consider. Many commercial cabbage juices are heat processed. That heat destroys sensitive compounds like vitamin C and vitamin U, the very components often advertised as healing. What remains is a mineral-heavy liquid with reduced protective benefits. So people think they're drinking medicine, when in reality they're delivering a concentrated mineral shock. This becomes even more dangerous for anyone with early kidney decline, high blood pressure, diabetes, or who takes medications that already affect kidney filtration. In those cases, the kidneys don't just struggle, they fall behind. Now, this doesn't mean cabbage should be avoided. The solution isn't elimination. The solution is restoring balance. The safest way to use cabbage after 60 is to keep it whole, lightly cooked, and paired with fiber-rich foods. Gentle steaming preserves beneficial compounds while reducing harsh load. Eating it rather than drinking it allows the body to regulate absorption naturally. One combination I often recommend is lightly steamed cabbage eaten with apple. Apples provide soluble fiber that further slows mineral uptake, supports gut health, and reduces pressure on the kidneys. This isn't a detox trick, it's a physiological safeguard. And if juice is used at all, it should be rare diluted, taken with food, and never relied on daily. The kidneys thrive on consistency, not shocks. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The more aggressively we try to cleanse, the more we risk overwhelming the organs responsible for cleansing in the first place. If you've ever believed that juicing makes vegetables safer or more powerful, you're not alone. That belief is widespread. It's also where many well-intentioned people unknowingly cross the line from support into strain. And this is only the first layer. Because when people start to question cabbage juice, many of them swing to the opposite extreme, eating cabbage raw, believing that natural automatically means safe. But only knowing this first mistake isn't enough, because there's another factor that's even more dangerous, and most people completely overlook it. Once people begin to question cabbage juice, many of them swing in the opposite direction. They stop juicing, they stop boiling, and they tell themselves, I'll just eat it raw. Natural is always safer. And that belief leads straight into the second major mistake: eating raw cabbage regularly when your thyroid is already under strain. This mistake doesn't cause immediate discomfort. It doesn't send people to the emergency room. Instead, it quietly slows the body down metabolism, energy, temperature regulation until people begin to feel older than they should. I once spoke with a woman in her late 50s who said, I don't understand what's happening. I eat clean. I eat salads every day. I even feel proud of it. But I'm always cold. I'm gaining weight without eating more. And my energy is gone. Her diet looked perfect on paper. But one detail stood out: raw cabbage, almost daily, in salads, smoothies, and slaws. What most people don't realize is that cabbage belongs to a group of vegetables called cruciferous vegetables. And when eaten raw, they contain natural compounds known as goitrogens. Goitrogens interfere with the body's ability to absorb iodine, the mineral the thyroid gland depends on to produce hormones that regulate metabolism, heart rate, body temperature, and energy levels. When the thyroid is strong, the body can usually compensate. But after age 50, thyroid efficiency naturally declines, especially in women. Add stress medications, nutrient deficiencies, or autoimmune tendencies, and the margin for error becomes very small. This is where raw cabbage becomes a silent problem, not because it's toxic, but because it blocks fuel from reaching an already weakening system. Imagine trying to heat a house in winter while someone keeps turning off the gas supply. The furnace itself isn't broken, but it can't function properly. Over time, the system strains, compensation fails, and symptoms appear. Clinically, this shows up as fatigue, cold sensitivity, brain fog, weight gain, dry skin, constipation, and mood changes. Many people attribute these signs to just getting older, never realizing that a daily dietary habit is reinforcing the problem. Science is clear on this point. Studies have shown that goitrogenic compounds are significantly reduced by heat. Light steaming, blanching, or cooking for even 1 to 2 minutes can deactivate much of the thyroid blocking effect without destroying the beneficial nutrients that cabbage offers. This is the key distinction almost no one explains properly. Raw cabbage may be fine for a young, metabolically resilient body, but for someone with early thyroid slowdown, it can quietly deepen dysfunction over time. And here's where this mistake intersects with kidney health. When thyroid hormones drop, metabolic rate slows, circulation slows, waste clearance slows. The kidneys, already working with less reserve due to age, now receive slower blood flow and altered electrolyte handling. In other words, a thyroid under strain indirectly increases kidney stress. This is why some people notice that when their energy declines, their labs worsen shortly after. These systems don't operate in isolation. They rise and fall together. The solution isn't avoidance, it's adjustment. Lightly steaming cabbage for just 1 to 2 minutes dramatically reduces goitrogen activity. The texture remains pleasant, the flavor softens, and the body can absorb nutrients without interference. When combined thoughtfully, for example, with a ripe banana blended smoothly with water or unsweetened yogurt, The result supports digestion, liver detox pathways, and energy balance without triggering thyroid suppression. But this combination must be done carefully. No milk, no excess sugar, no overconsumption. Moderation and preparation matter more than intention. Here's the most important takeaway. Food doesn't stay good or bad forever. The same food that supports a healthy body at 30 can quietly undermine it at 60 if preparation doesn't change. And the danger isn't obvious. It creeps in disguised as discipline and healthy habits. If you've ever felt frustrated because you're doing everything right but your body isn't responding, this might be one of the missing pieces. But even the second mistake, serious as it is, still isn't the most dangerous one. Because the final mistake doesn't just slow the body down, it can override medications, disrupt blood flow, and trigger life-threatening events without warning. And just knowing these first two mistakes isn't enough, because there's another factor that's far more dangerous and almost no one talks about it. This third mistake is the most dangerous one, not because it happens more often, but because when it happens, the consequences can be sudden, severe, and irreversible. It usually affects people who believe they are doing everything right. They take their medications on time. They follow their doctor's instructions. They eat vegetables instead of processed food. And yet, without realizing it, they unknowingly cancel out the very medications that are supposed to protect their life. This mistake happens when cabbage is eaten the wrong way, while someone is taking heart medications or blood-thinning drugs. I've seen this more times than I wish I had. A man in his late 60s once told me, "Doctor, I never miss my pills." Not once. He had been prescribed aspirin and a blood thinner after a minor cardiac event. He exercised lightly. He avoided red meat. He drank green vegetable juices daily, including cabbage, because he believed it would clean his blood. Weeks later, he was rushed to the hospital with signs of a stroke. What went wrong wasn't non-compliance. What went wrong was interaction. Cabbage is naturally high in vitamin K, a nutrient essential for blood clotting. In a healthy person, this is beneficial. Vitamin K helps stop bleeding and supports bone health. But when someone is taking anticoagulants medications designed to thin the blood and prevent clots, vitamin K can directly oppose their effect. In simple terms, it's like pressing the brake and the accelerator at the same time. One side of the body is trying to keep blood flowing smoothly. The other side is quietly encouraging clot formation, and the body doesn't average it out. One side wins unpredictably. This is why food-drug interactions are so dangerous. They don't cause gradual symptoms. They cause events. From a scientific standpoint, this is well understood. Anticoagulants like warfarin work by inhibiting vitamin K-dependent clotting factors. When vitamin K intake suddenly increases, especially from concentrated sources like vegetable juices, the medication becomes less effective. Blood becomes thicker, clot risk increases, and the patient often has no warning signs. Now here's what makes this mistake even more dangerous for older adults. After age 60, blood vessels are less elastic, plaques are more unstable, kidney filtration is slower, the margin for error is razor thin. When blood thickens, unexpectedly clots can form and travel. If they lodge in the brain, a stroke occurs. If they block coronary arteries, a heart attack follows. If circulation to the kidneys is compromised, kidney damage accelerates rapidly. And in many of these cases, families are left confused. He was taking his medicine. She was eating healthy. No one told them that healthy foods can behave very differently when medications are involved. This doesn't mean cabbage must be eliminated forever, but it cannot be consumed blindly. The risk is highest with concentrated forms, daily vegetable juices, large portions eaten frequently, especially when timing overlaps closely with medication intake. The safest approach is moderation, preparation, and spacing. Cooked cabbage in small amounts eaten as part of a meal poses far less risk than liquid extracts. Spacing cabbage consumption several hours away from medication can reduce interaction. And most importantly, anyone on blood-thinning medication should never adopt vegetable juicing habits without medical guidance. There's another layer many people overlook. Kidneys play a central role in regulating blood volume and electrolyte balance. When blood flow becomes unstable due to clotting risk or medication interference, the kidneys suffer secondary damage. Reduced perfusion leads to filtration stress. Waste products accumulate. Lab values worsen. This is how a dietary habit meant to cleanse can quietly push someone closer to dialysis. The most heartbreaking part is that this mistake is driven by good intentions. people are trying to live longer, trying to stay independent, trying not to become a burden. But without understanding how food and medication interact in an aging body, intention alone isn't protection. And here's the truth most people are never told. As we age, food stops being neutral. It becomes context-dependent medicine. The same cabbage that supports digestion in one person can neutralize life-saving medication in another. That doesn't mean fear is the answer. Awareness is. If you or someone you love is taking heart medication, blood pressure medication, or anticoagulants, the question isn't whether vegetables are good or bad. The question is how, when, and in what form they're used. And once you understand that, everything changes. But even knowing this still isn't the full picture, because the final step isn't just avoiding mistakes. It's learning how to rebuild safety and confidence moving forward. If you've stayed with me until this point, I want to start by saying something important that already tells me you care deeply about your health, and that matters more than any single food supplement or test result. Getting older often comes with quiet worries. You may not say them out loud, but you feel them. Will my kidneys keep up? Will my medications still protect me? Will I lose my independence one day? The truth is, these concerns are not a sign of weakness. They're a sign of awareness. And awareness is the first step toward protection. What I hope you take away from this video is not fear, but clarity. Cabbage was never the enemy. The real issue was never about avoiding healthy foods. It was about understanding how the body changes with age and adjusting habits accordingly. Small changes in preparation, timing, and combination can make an enormous difference in how gently your kidneys are treated every single day. If there's one piece of advice I want you to remember, it's this. Your kidneys don't need extreme cleanses or aggressive detox routines. They need consistency, balance, and respect. Eating whole foods in their natural form, avoiding concentrated shortcuts, and paying attention to how food interacts with medications can protect kidney function far more effectively than any miracle product. Please be kind to your body. It has carried you through decades of work, stress, family, and responsibility. It deserves care, not punishment disguised as health trends. If this video helped you see things differently, I strongly encourage you to save it. Not just for yourself, but for the day you might want to revisit these ideas or share them with someone you love. Many kidney problems develop slowly, and having the right information at the right time can change the course of someone's life. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. I share clear, practical, and evidence-based health guidance focused on kidney health, heart health, and aging well, without hype, without scare tactics, and without unnecessary complexity. By subscribing, you make sure you don't miss future videos that could help you protect your kidneys, understand your lab results, and make smarter daily choices. I also want you to know this: you're not alone in this journey. Every week, thousands of people are asking the same questions you are. By watching, learning, and staying engaged, you're becoming part of a community that values long-term health over quick fixes. Finally, let me leave you with a message of hope. Kidney health is not something that disappears overnight. In many cases, it responds beautifully to gentle, informed changes. When you reduce unnecessary strain, the body often surprises you with its ability to stabilize and adapt. Aging does not automatically mean decline. With the right knowledge, it can mean wisdom, balance, and confidence. Take care of yourself. Listen to your body. And remember, informed choices today can protect your independence tomorrow. Save this video, subscribe for future updates, and stay with me as we continue learning how to care for our kidneys and our health, one thoughtful step at a time.